In this video, I'll show you a data pack I made that adds cutscenes into Minecraft. I included lots of cool features so your next Minecraft map will have some really cool camera shots. I'll show you how you can add your own cutscenes, and at the end I'll show you how to install it. So let's get started. First, let's find a cool place to have our cutscene. And I found these mountains that I thought would be pretty cool. The 1.18 generation is awesome. So with the data pack installed, the first thing we're going to do is type /reload. The data pack will give any players in creative mode a book with everything we'll need. And if we look inside this book, there are 4 pages: user commands, motion commands, settings, and there's some additional info. We'll start with page 1 because that's the most useful to us right now. So I think I want the cutscene to kind of start a little low and then move up slowly. I think that would be pretty cool. So if we want to start our cutscene down here, we're going to position our player where we want our camera to spawn. And then on the first page of the book, we click Spawn Camera. And some particles show up where we are, and you'll see this is where our camera has spawned. You'll also see that the chat says Spawn Camera ID 1. This will be useful later because we can spawn as many cameras as we want. And when we're moving them, we want to be able to target a specific camera. So it's a good idea to have separate IDs for each camera. Now, if you spawn too many cameras or it's not quite where you want it, you can go in your book and click Delete Single Camera. And it will actually select the one closest to you, and it will ask you in chat if you're sure you want to delete it. So you can click yes or no. Clicking yes will delete it. You can also click Delete All Cameras if you want, and it will delete every camera in your world. I'm going to click no because I want to keep the one down there, and I'll just delete single camera right here. Now that we've spawned in our camera, we can actually look through it by clicking Play Nearest Camera in our book. And you can see we actually start spectating the camera that's closest to our player. And then also this will show up in chat where you can click End Cutscene, and you will actually be taken out of the view of the camera and put back in the position you were previously. So I could actually be up here on top of the mountain, and I could click Play Nearest Camera, look through it, and then click End Cutscene again, and I'm still up here by the mountain. This even works with multiple players, by the way. Now we have our camera, but if we're making an adventure map, we don't want the player to have to click a book to start playing our cutscene. We want command blocks to do it for us. That's what the second page of the book is for. Each of these sections are commands that I have written that can do a bunch of stuff to the cameras. So for example, we can play scene, and there are 2 options here. So we can do clipboard. So if we clicked that, you would see that we could paste this command wherever we want. And I'll explain what this is in just a second. Or if you wanted to, you could click give, and it will actually give you a command block that has the command already inside it. So if we look inside this command, it's a big execute command that you don't really need to worry about too much, but we can see at the end it's running a function to play the camera. So if we get a button, we could try to play it, but nothing's going to happen because it doesn't know what camera to play right now. Remember the camera IDs we talked about a minute ago? That's actually how we target specific cameras, by knowing what ID it was. And if you don't know what the ID of a camera is, you can actually go to the settings in the back and turn on time code. And it'll actually explain another thing that I'll talk about in a minute. But now if we look at the camera, you can see in the hotbar, we've got a couple things happening, but the important one right now is it's showing ID 1. So we know that this is camera ID 1. And if we look in our command, you can see there's capital ID number right here. All we need to do is get rid of that and put in the number of our camera. So we can put in camera ID 1, and you can see now the command isn't read anymore. So now if we push the button, you can see we are now looking through camera 1. So this will let us use command blocks to activate the cutscenes however we want, like if you enter a new area or if you defeat a boss or something. But you also might have noticed that that message in chat didn't show up. I did this so that if command blocks activate the cutscene, you won't get like a end cutscene button so that your players can't just end the cutscene willy-nilly. So to actually stop the cutscene, we're going to type /function. We can autofill it with tab. And we type JDC, which is the namespace of the data pack, and you can click stop. And if we run that, it'll also finish the cutscene. So I moved our command block away from the camera a little bit just so that we can have a bit more room to play with instead of just on top of the tree. But this is our command block that we just made. So we can play the cutscenes using command blocks. We can also end the cutscenes. So if we put this command over here, and again we put in our ID number, we can do the same command that we just played when we wanted to end the cutscene, which was JDCam stop. And if we add some repeaters to give it a little bit of a delay, we can now press the button, the cutscene will play, and then it will end after a couple seconds. Now we can activate the cutscenes using command blocks so we can use them in our map. But what if we want our cameras to move? We have another command in our book that will allow us to do this. So we just talked about play scene, and then there's play scene with fade. I'll explain what that is later in the video. But the next thing we're going to learn about is motion. So if you remember, when we turned on the time code in our camera, you saw these little numbers in our action bar. We saw ID 1, but then you'll also see this number that's going up constantly. The first number is ticks, and then the second number is seconds. What this actually is a timer that's built into our camera. So this shows that we have been playing the command for 30 seconds now. And we can use this timer to actually time when we want our camera to move. So if we grab the motion command here by clicking give, you'll see we get a repeating command block because it's the motion in ticks, which was that first number in the time code. If we place it down and we look inside, you'll see we have a teleport command this time along with our ID number. So if we put in our ID number, which is 1, we can also see there is time number. This is where we use the number that we saw in the time code to time where we want the teleporting to happen. So we're going to actually start with 1, and we actually put ... and then we put the ending time. So the motion is in ticks, which is every 20th of a second. So 20 would be 1 second. And we can do 40, which is 2 seconds. I'm going to go 4 seconds, which is 80. And then we have a teleport command, and we can move it however we want. So we could go up slowly. So I'm going to go like 0.2, which is 2/10 of a block. And that's the motion we'll actually have. Now we can get a lever and actually turn on this command, and it's actually going to repeat this every tick. So now if we activate our cutscene, you'll see that we are moving up slowly until we reach second 4 or tick 80, and the movement will actually stop. And as you can probably guess, this gives you lots of options for some really cool cutscenes. We could also stack these together and actually make another one where I'll go a chain command block this time because we want it in the same chain. I'll set it to always active. And then we put in our ID number again, and then we put in a different cam time. So we go, if we wanted to start at 80 because that's when the last action ends, then go ... we could go like to 100, which would be 2 extra seconds, I think. Actually, 120 would be 2 extra seconds. And then we could teleport to the side in the middle of it. Then we can click done, and then we can play our cutscene now. And then once we reach 80 ticks, we'll start going off to the side until we reach 120. Now I disconnected the command that actually ends the cutscene because there's actually one in our book that uses that same timer so we can end the cutscene when we want. So if we grab the end scene command block, we can put this in this same chain because it's already a chain command block. And then we put in our number again, our ID number, which is camera 1. And then this time, instead of it being like from 1 to 80, we're actually going to just put in one single number, which is the exact time when the cutscene will end. Since the last action ends at 120, I'm going to end the cutscene at 120. And now we can play our cutscene again, and we will go up. And then at tick 80, we will go off to the side. And then at tick 120, the cutscene's over. Now, instead of going off to the side, I think it would be a lot cooler if we went towards the mountain. So I'm actually going to change these tildes here, and we're going to actually replace them with these carets here. This will change the teleport command to be relative to the actual camera. So if we put a number on the third caret here, like 0.2, this will actually make it go forward in the direction it's facing. All right, so we can check that. And we go up, and then we should go forward. Now you know how to make your own cutscenes, but there's one last thing that I added that will take your cutscenes to the next level. So if you noticed in the book, there was play scene with fade and end scene with fade. And there's also a setting in the back that says widescreen effect. So for this next part to work, you're actually going to need to get the resource pack that I have linked in the description. Nothing else in the data pack needs it, but this next part actually does. So you're going to want to download that and add it to your game. And I wanted to thank Think86200 for making this texture pack.
Hello. Oh, cookie.
So if we want this part to work, we're actually going to turn Widescreen Effect on. So we can click on the toggle, but right now it says that we can't do it because the time code is on. You actually can't have the time code and the Widescreen Effect on at the same time. So we have to turn off time code first, and then we can turn on Widescreen Effect. And with that setting on, we can activate our cutscene, and it now has a widescreen, and this makes it look a lot more cinematic, and I really love this detail. Let's play it again. Oh, it looks so cool. But wait, there's more. With this setting turned on, we can now go to our motion commands, and you'll see play scene with fade and end scene with fade. We can give ourselves a command block, and if we look inside, it's the exact same as the play command, but with fade added to the end. So we could also just add play_fade to our command. And lo and behold... Really? I'm trying to show you the coolest part. It just starts raining. What the heck? As I was saying, lo and behold, it transitions into the cutscene and looks a lot cooler. I want to play it again. That's the coolest part. It fades in and fades to the cutscene. It's so cool. We can also add it to our stop command. Then we can play it, get an awesome cutscene, and it will fade out. That's my favorite part of this whole data pack, and you should have a lot of fun with this. Now you know how to make your own cutscenes. This should be an awesome addition to your Minecraft map. Before I go, I'll show you how to install the data pack. First, you're going to go into the description and click the top link. It'll take you to a Planet Minecraft page where you can download the data pack. If you're installing the data pack into a brand new world, you can go into the data packs button, and you can actually just drag and drop the file right here. So I just dropped it in. You can click yes, and then you just click it over to this side and then hit done. And then when you generate your world, it will be installed. If you already have a world that you want to add your data pack to, you can click your resource packs option and click open pack folder. It will open our resource packs folder, but we actually want to go a folder back to .minecraft. Then we're going to click the folder called saves. And you should see a list of all the worlds you have. And you're going to click the folder that you want to install your data pack. Then you're going to click the data packs folder and then drop in your data pack. Then you should be able to type /reload in your Minecraft world and it should be installed. And that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching and have fun making cutscenes. Bye!
Hello, okay, bye!